Hello, I'm Harvey Hartman. I'm here with June Jolie talking about culture. Today we're going to talk about culture and eating and the shift that we're seeing in the population and the consumer. June, as I understand it, as you've shared with me, that we're moving from a cooking culture to an eating culture. What do you really mean when we talk about this shift?
What I mean by an eating culture is the fact that everyone is participating in food and what they eat. We're all eaters today, and as eaters, we all are actively choosing, thinking, avoiding what we eat. It used to be in the past, like when we talk to consumers, even a generation ago, when they're thinking back to their parents' generation or growing up, you ate what you got. Someone prepared the food, be it your mother or your grandmother, and you just showed up to the table. We talk about where our food comes from and all that today, but really back then, the food showed up on the table and you ate it. So that was the kind of culture we had before, where one person cooked food for their family or a larger group. Today, we are all actively participating in what we eat.
And what term that you shared with me was intentional eaters.
Yes.
That we're intentional in terms of what we eat, which you shared is we care about what we eat.
We do.
We worry about where it's coming from. We're concerned about how much we're eating. We're concerned about who we're eating with. The family dinner has changed as well, right? When I grew up, it used to be commensality. Everybody at the table eating the same thing at the same time. Mm-hmm. That's part of a cultural shift as well.
Yeah, you hear the stories, the collective stories of how we used to eat growing up. Oftentimes there's that sort of scene where everybody's sitting around the table and you have to finish what's on your plate or you can't leave.
I was there.
Were you there? I was there too. Yeah. My mom was not a good cook. But now we have these things. I was just out talking to consumers last week. Have you heard of the Adventure Bite?
I've not.
Yeah, so, parents still think, and I'm saying parents, not just the mom, but both mom and dad think it's their moral duty as a parent to teach their kids how to eat. And part of that is the Adventure Bite, that they must try something at least once. And if they don't like it, they can decide they can choose not to eat it.
Nice. That
would be unheard of in the past. But it really is a result of this fact that we've sort of legitimized this. We've legitimized the picky eater. All of us are picky eaters. We can choose what we're avoiding, what we are seeking more of, more protein or no gluten. And in a sense, we're just living this experiment through our foods.
And if I'm selling food to these picky eaters, what do I have to understand, or what makes me look at things differently today than what I did before? Obviously, I must be selling to a larger market of fragmented kinds of attitudes and behaviors.
Definitely, but there's also a lot of collective talk around that fragmentation. So there's a lot of consensus if you listen carefully through that. We want fresh, and we want fast, and we want delicious, and we want our foods to mean a lot more than it used to be.
And my understanding too, you shared with me some of the work that you've done in the last couple of months with regard to we all eat maybe the same and differently. And what you shared with me is that we may eat indulgent, but we may eat health and wellness. It's not necessarily real consistent. It's dependent upon an occasion that we eat a particular thing.
Yeah, it depends on a whole host of factors. When we were a cooking culture, let's go back to that, mom usually would shop maybe once a week or once every other week, and she would stock the pantry, the home pantry, full of things, basic ingredients that you would need to prepare meals. Meals used to be planned. You'd have, fish on Fridays, you'd have spaghetti, you'd have, meatloaf, etc. And you'd kind of go through the same cycle of foods, and you kind of eat the same foods every day. today, when we talk to consumers, they don't know what they're eating, an hour from now for lunch, let alone dinner. We are eating according to our moods, our whims, our personal health agendas, so whatever's going on with our lives.
And it's like some of my children, actually, as you described this. Perhaps I and their mother has helped them with the venture bite, because now they're exploring
Right.
all kinds of foods, whether it be different kinds of global cuisines or food right from the farmer's market or whatever. We're much open to a vast array of different kinds of flavors and taste and experiences of food.
We are. I mean, the cultural apparatus of food has a large role they played in that, with Food TV, Food Network, Cooking Channel on 24/7 when we go to people's homes. It's almost like either that or the sports channel. It's something
Right.
that's always playing in the background.
And when you say the cultural apparatus, so our audience understands what we know is affecting and influencing and enabling consumption and eating of food,
Right.
that apparatus is what exactly?
That apparatus is all the actors and agents that create and change food culture today. So it is manufacturers, retailers, it is the government telling us what we should eat, it's the food activists, it's the consumer choosing what to eat or what not to eat, in addition to traditional media as well as new media.
And in certain cases, if I'm a marketer of food, I shouldn't necessarily just be selling everything to the consumer. At times, I might be trying to understand how the influence of this cultural apparatus is really affecting the purchase through that consumer. So in many cases,
Right.
it's really formulating ideas in the marketplace that the consumer will adapt to. June, thank you very much for talking about culture and eating this afternoon. It's an exciting kind of time. It's an area that I think a lot of people are looking for more information. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about culture and eating and shopping and cooking as well.
Thanks, Harvey.
Thanks again.